Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to go over some cosplay / convention tips and tricks that you may or may not know. If you know all these, well done, good for you. If you don't, then I hope that you can learn something and take that away from this video. Anyways, let's just start and not delay this any further. The wig is not wigging. Tip number 1. Bringing the cosplay essentials or a cosplay emergency kit with you to a convention. These can include things like a hairbrush, hairspray, safety pins, maybe some of your makeup so you can touch things up throughout the day. Of course you don't need to bring everything with you, even just something small as say your lipstick or one of those small travel hairbrushes if you're wearing a long wig. These kits can be customized for your cosplay or whatever you may need or whatever you think you might need during the day. Overall, it's a nice handy thing to have with you, just in case. Moving on to number 2, we have to talk about keeping yourself fed and hydrated at a con. Now I know a lot of cosplayers have bad habits of not eating or drinking enough at a convention, me myself included, but it's important to take the time to actually have something substantial that's going to keep you going throughout the day. Something a lot of other cosplayers have spoken about to combat this would be smoothies. Smoothies are a great way to eat and drink on the go, and because they're in cups, usually with straws, they don't spill and get all over your cosplay that you spent working on and con crunching the night before. Another small tip is that if you don't want a smoothie, you don't like smoothies, another great alternative to that would be breakfast bars. They're really good for keeping your energy levels up and they can be healthy. Tip number 3, well, it's not so much of a tip, more advice. Don't be scared to ask cosplayers for photos. I know from experience how difficult and nerve-wracking it is to actually go up to someone and ask for a photo, but if you're super polite and respectful, 9 times out of 10, the person will be very nice about it and will gladly take a photo with you. Something to note is that if you're asking a cosplayer for a photo in the middle of a con hallway, such as the dealers or Artist Alley, it might be better to kindly ask them if you'd like to step off to the side where you can get a photo done without being in the way of other con goers. And this way you won't have anyone photobombing your photos. Now by the small chance that they say no, that's okay too. Sometimes cosplayers can be very busy and won't have the time to stop and get a photo with you. Or maybe they're too stressed and don't feel comfortable at the moment getting a photo. You need to keep these in mind when asking, but don't feel disheartened if they do by chance decline. A tip I have for improving and just making your cosplay look a little bit more neat and put together is to iron your cosplays. There's nothing worse than going to a photo shoot or a con when there's hundreds of creases and wrinkles in your cosplay. An alternative to an iron would be a steamer. Now these can be more expensive or cheaper depending where you get them from. The great thing about steamers is that not only can they help to straighten out your cosplays, but they can also be used to help style wigs. There are lots of tutorials out there that show you how to style wigs with a steamer, so if you are interested, I'd recommend you go take a look. I don't have a steamer, so I really couldn't tell you where to go to get a decent one. I could not tell you. Moving on. Something that's said quite a bit in the community that I cannot recommend enough. Don't be scared to go full out with your makeup. As in, if you're sitting there doing your makeup for a cosplay and you think you've gone too much or over the top, you haven't. Once you put your wig on, everything will look more normal and toned down, so don't be afraid to go crazy with your makeup. Something I've learned is that if you want the camera to pick up your makeup, you need to go over the top with it. If you put on too little, I see a lot of the time that the wig just drowns out the face. So definitely piling on that eyeshadow or trying something a little bit bolder with your eyeliner can really help to take your cosplay photos a lot further. Tip number 6, cosplay poses. When you're planning to go for a photo shoot or to a convention in cosplay, it is extremely helpful to pre-plan poses ahead of time. Here's a scenario. You're at a con, you're chatting with friends, having a good time. When all of a sudden, another con goer approaches you and politely asks you for a photo together. You say yes, no problem, you stand beside each other, their friends got the camera pointed at you guys, and oh no, what pose do you do? I think we all know what happens after this, and we all fall victim to the same 2 poses that we all default to, and that is both the peace sign and the outstretched hand. also known a lot as the idol pose. Now there's nothing wrong with these poses, but a way to improve your photos is to search up and find more interesting and dynamic poses that other cosplayers have done, just to add that little bit more. Places that you can look that I found to be quite helpful are Google, Instagram, and even Pinterest. And if you're doing a duo cosplay with another person, you can even share ideas with them about what poses you guys would want to do, just to make things a little more exciting than just a peace sign. The last thing on the list is again more kind of advice than a tip, but just be sure not to compare yourself to other cosplayers in a negative light and to just have fun with it. Cosplay is about dressing up as characters you love and enjoy. It's not about putting other people down or gatekeeping characters or saying that you did a cosplay better than someone else did. Everyone does cosplay differently, whether you buy a really expensive tailor-made cosplay or you make your own and thrift it from a charity shop. It's still cosplay and we're all just dressing up and having fun. And that's it. If you watched all the way to here, drop a comment telling me your next cos plan, and I'd like to thank you for watching. Your support is very appreciated. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok. My @ on both platforms is Axolotl. I try to post regularly on these, so I'd love to see you there. I will also be at ACME or ACME Autumn this year, which is in 2 weeks, so expect a vlog to come from that soon.